All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 15th. It's the monthly meeting of the School Building Committee and the Permanent Building Committee. First item on the agenda is Jeff with the review of the MSBA final reimbursement and projected tax impact.
Sure. As you saw in your meeting packet, I included the total budget. Not that you need to review all that detail, but the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is that you've approved a $125 million project, and the state is going to give you $68.2 million, which ends up being an effective reimbursement rate of 54.6%. And you started at 59, so to only drop by 4.5% is pretty amazing in the program with the MSBA. And that's the testament to kind of cutting out the scope that would otherwise be ineligible, such as the athletic fields or the larger gym and all these other things that we kind of talked about along the way. So you've truly maximized everything you can kind of get out of the program at this point. And that's good news. And now it's ultimately up to the taxpayers and the voters to approve it. But the net of that is $68.2 million dollars. And so, that's in hand. There's some questions kind of going back and forth with the design team and the MSBA and the school administration. So we received some of those questions earlier this week about the special ed programs that came from DESE. And right now the design team and Bob are working on that response. And then yesterday we received the detailed drawing review comments, and we're in the process of going through those and getting ready to respond to them. Any questions on that portion of the program? Okay. Rich, do you want to give a recap to the audience? If anybody was anybody not at the public forum that wants to hear about it yesterday?
I wasn't there, but if we want to move on, we can.
Yeah. The short version of it is we had 44 people in the public, in addition to all of us that were there. Some good questions, some good attendance up from prior ones. Obviously, we hope that those people then become ambassadors and then share the knowledge that they heard last night and kind of spread the word. I do have that up on the website now. So on the website, I put last night's forum up there. And if you guys just want to share, bear with me a second, I'll just share a screen. Sharing now. So on the website, on the homepage, this afternoon we added a bar. It said the project requires residents to complete two funding votes to move the project forward. A 2/3 vote at town meeting and a simple majority at the vote for the ballot. We really want them to be educated that this is going to take 2 votes to kind of move forward, and so that's now front and center on the website when they first land there. Gives you the date of town meeting and the ballot. Again, we just need to be careful we're not advocating. So this is just saying 2 votes are required, not, vote yes to approve the project. So we're just careful with our wording there. We have the funding or the forum that was last night. The slides are now up there. If you click on this link, it's everything that we presented last night is available. We have the upcoming forum on the 28th, so 2 weeks from last night will be our next forum. So we'll do a new flyer this week and get that back to Bob to recirculate. We'll probably do a different color layout just to show people that it's a new date, so they aren't getting confused with things being consistently the same color. So we'll do a little refresh on that.
I forgot that Danielle wasn't going to be able to join tonight. She usually shares the screen. I'm at soccer practice, so we can.
Ellen, you got to mute. You're on another meeting.
Have an agenda on the.
Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry. Jeff, I got to go back and I got to correct one thing. You have that 2/3 vote, 2/3 with a apostrophe S. That is confusing as hell. I don't know what that means. A 2 out of 3's approval? That doesn't say 2/3.
Okay, we can spell out the
That's
word.
all. I'm going to mute. I'm sorry, I'm on another thing. So I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to just join at the PBC. Sorry about that.
No worries. I appreciate that. More eyes are better. Things that make sense in my head don't always make sense to the general public. So happy to convert the word numbers to words. And by all means, the website is your guys, right? So is everybody in the town. So by all means, kick the tires on it, review it. If you guys have questions or you see things up there that aren't right, then other people may feel the same way, right? And it's only going to get better if you guys, comment on it and let us know if there are things that need to be updated. So I just throw that back out there to you all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if we can put on that website about like early voting, like if people aren't gonna be around on December 3rd, like I know there's early voting for X amount of days. Can we put that on there or are we not allowed to?
I don't see why not. I don't see anything wrong with that because it's a procedural thing. If you need an early vote, please reach out to town hall to request it or whatever the thing is there. So I think that's we could put anything that's factually based, right? So that's factually based that it's an available thing. So if you want to chase down the wording for that, Robin, or let me know what needs to go on there, we can get that up on the website.
Okay, yeah, I can grab that for you.
I agree with that completely because voting's going to begin, and there is a date. I forget what the date is. Early voting will begin like November or whatever it is.
Yeah, so if one of you guys can chase that down, you supply it over to us, we'll get it up there on the website. Be great. The new renderings that we had talked about last week, I think last week, maybe not since the last time we met, are out there. So there's this new rendering of the front elevation. Those are also on the design tab. Over here, we have multiple views here. So there's this rendering of the new middle school with the existing high school. There is the kind of zoomed out view of kind of what that looks like on the existing site. And the inside view of the gymnasium. And lastly, an interior view of the science lab are what was on the website there. But if there's other things you guys want to put on there, by all means, let us know and we'll get it up there. Like I said, it should be a living document between now and the ballot vote at the beginning of December. So, all improvements are welcome.
Rich, you're muted if you're
Yeah, I
talking.
realized it was. All right, one more thing, on the public engagement, the team with, Diane's help got a press release out today to the Millis Medway, paper. So that'll be in their next, publication. The other thing I did want to note, which I noted at last night's meeting, was that, because I read the Millis Medway Gazette because it's free, because I'm cheap. It came out and it had actually for the starting article was that Millis was in the top 10% of high schools in the United States. So I made sure that was brought up, and that's something that we're doing a good job academically, and having a school that is suitable to learn in would be something that we would need and would help us along. So.
Jeff? Can we put the design that we have on the mailer and to go in the paper up on the website?
Sure.
Speaking of mailers, so are there going to be two with what the PAC is doing? Do we know?
So I'll let others speak to that. But
Well, that's a good question. I know that Ellen reached out and we have not connected and said the PAC is doing one. I talked to Dan and he said he was doing a mailer. I mean, we can obviously share, we could actually share the press release with you guys as a guideline, if you wanted to use that. And there's also any of the stuff that's publicly out there, meaning those elevations that we just saw, images could be used because those have been in the public. So it all depends on what, the PAC wants to do. I did talk to Dan yesterday. So if there's a thought that you guys would like to use that stuff, let us know. We'll send it to you.
Rich Ellen's already sent it out.
There you go. See, I hadn't talked to Ellen yet. You had.
Well, no, I just got it. I got it in the email. The
Okay.
answer to whoever asked the question about the email mailer is that we have one in the works. We can show it to you in a little bit. we still have some legal reviews to get done. And we're hoping to get it out a week in advance of town meeting. It'll go to everyone in town.
I think the context here is that this committee has an obligation, I believe, to make people aware of what's going on and to let them know what's at stake and when they get to take a vote. What we can't do is say you should vote for it.
That's why we're having a second legal review, Jim.
So,
Because I had too many words in there they didn't like.
yeah, but I mean, it's very, very much our responsibility to do that, I believe. And I know there's some stuff to talk about tonight about the cost of it and whatnot. What the PAC does is independent.
Right.
So I don't think the PAC can actually post its material on the website because that's the one maintained by the town. But certainly anything that this committee does is open to the PAC to review, to take a look at and use as they see fit.
Correct.
And I think what I heard at our meeting earlier today was that the informational one would go out before town meeting, and then the PAC one would go out before the December vote.
That's up to the PAC.
Right.
Oh, so well, we should double back to this conversation, but just to segue to what the current flyer looks like, is this. And so this was included in your packet. There's wordsmithing involved. Originally we had the word Millis School Building Committee recommends because you guys did recommend it was the option. But there was some question with the state campaign finance group about whether that's a support vote request, and there was the word support in there. So we've made some edits and removed those things. Right now it still says the school building committee at the top. We still need to get that portion. Obviously, we want people to know who this flyer is from. But the list and Diane worked hard to come up with what we thought was a good graphic to describe the project and kind of a few sound bites. And I think this does that, right? Renovated high school, new middle school addition, potential for future expansion, gymnasium, new pickup and drop off, right? Just a couple of high level key points of the building. QR code gets you to the website itself. So that would be the front of the flyer, right? So not really putting anything in there, not advocating. On the back of the flyer, we thought that the gymnasium and interior view would be a nice picture there, and to show that as an amenity that's part of this overall project. It's an improvement in the current condition of a gymnasium. At the bottom, we're again just stating some high level facts: new middle school wing, renovated high school wing, new gymnasium, overall cost, and then the MSBA's portion of the cost. And then the wording in the middle got kind of tightened up to just be the dates themselves versus, the call to action. So right now it says Millis approvals, or it could say Millis approval dates or whatever, but it's November 10th fall meeting, vote on the approval of the project, and December 8th town ballot, vote on the funding of the project. So this is where we just, to Jim's point, have to be very careful with the wording. Like one word can make the whole thing, fall into a tough situation. So we just have to be as nimble as possible with the wording. But really, the front page is just kind of, here's a snapshot of the picture. This is brought to you by the building committee. Here's where to go for information, and the backside, when to vote. And so that's the kind of mailer that this group we're talking about putting out there. The PAC is going to do the advocation piece where they say, here's why to vote yes, and here are the reasons that you get benefits if you vote yes. We can't say any of that. We're just telling people where and when to vote and where to go for more information.
Jeff, should the return address on that be Millis Public Schools? Or does that even matter?
It's a good question, Bob. I don't know.
We need something.
Yeah, I don't have I have the ones from my town that they use, but I don't have them with me. I have them at school.
I mean, it could be the town hall because this committee, is technically appointed by the select board, and so that may be a more applicable address.
I mean, just a question, does it matter?
No,
I
I
mean, no
don't
one's
think
gonna-
so.
Yeah, no one's gonna, yeah, I see your point, Bob, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
if
think-
it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, unless somebody wants to write mail back to you,
It just seems to me if we're trying to keep the lines clear that we are a group of people who are just looking to get the facts out there, I would think it should have the town address, town hall address versus the school.
No, because the town's not putting it out, nor is the school in reality.
Who's
But
paying
aren't we
for it?
an appointed body
Yeah,
by the
The
town
town is, the
selectmen?
town is paying for it from the budget of this project.
Okay, well, I mean, so there's really, it's just a change of, the address. It's, if there's no, if it makes it cleaner, let's just change the address to town hall. That's fine.
We can make that change. Simple enough.
And we
Are
can
there any
keep,
other-
yeah,
Go ahead, Bob. Are there other things you guys want to add or tweak, or, you know, other missteps in words here that you guys, because words matter, right? Like, so, you know, Millerstown approvals, right? You know, it's vote on project approval, vote on project funding. And, you know, it's not a call to action, it's just saying vote. But we're gonna have to run this by the campaign finance office, and then the ethics commission, I think, was the other one they told us to run it by. So, you know, we got to get those two blessings to make sure it doesn't run afoul of the rules of engagement.
No, I
What-
think honestly, the less, I mean, you know, I think something very clean like you've done here. If you put a lot of crap on it, people aren't gonna necessarily pay attention. I think the message is out there. I mean, the only thing I might say is that maybe the town approvals get a little bigger. Diane, what do you think of that? If they were to the right-hand side and a little bigger, you know what I mean? So that's right now.
We can't put anything on that right-hand
the
side.
address
Everything on the
over here.
right-hand side
Okay.
is for the post office only.
Oh, okay, done. That answers that question.
That's
Nope.
why it's a blank.
Done.
You know, technically, there's two things here. One is an authorization to spend, and the other is an actual appropriation to spend. I don't know what says, and this is a Proposition 2.5 debt exclusion. There must be magic words in that stuff. I mean, my opinion, for what it's worth at this point, is this looks fine, but and that's the distinction.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think this is one of those KISS moments, you know, keep it simple, silly. You know what I mean? I think that makes the most sense here is, you know, this is what they need to know, and, you know, keep it simple, and hopefully people will read it.
Well, Jeff, what if the state says, I don't like that word? Then what happens?
We wordsmith it some more. I mean, at the end of the day, like you know, what I'm looking for tonight is, you know, A, do you guys want to send out a mailer, right? Question one. B, you know, we'll approve a not to exceed number, which gives us a little bit of float room to work out the mechanics and the final pricing and all that. We do have 4 quotes that are in your packet, but we're still making tweaks, you know, as we speak. So, you know, those would be the things. And at the end of the day, you know, I can wrap it up with Rich and Diane or whoever, to get the final piece out the door at the end of this week or the beginning of next week, whenever we have all the necessary sign-offs, on the wording.
Jeff, we could make it Millerstown votes
Yeah.
So-
instead of approvals.
I mean,
So-
why don't we, you know, this looks great. Why don't we go with this and let them tell us that it's not appropriate if that's the case?
Well, timing's an issue.
Bring it back where they nixed the word support and recommend, and so I wanted to hold off for tonight's conversation and then send, you know, and so we're not constantly sending versions. So we did not send the one from this one from this afternoon. So if you guys are comfortable with it, we'll make that change to the address, and if there are no other changes, we'll take that or whatever you guys adjust tonight, and we'll send it out in the morning to campaign finance office.
Jeff, I actually just sent it over a little while ago. You probably haven't
Really?
seen the email yet. So
There you go.
Okay.
Matt.
That's
All
what
right.
I like, efficiency.
We like that. So, you know, I say, Jeff, in my opinion, I think that, you know, yes, we need to do this. And I think with the small change on the address, which, you know, that's fine, it makes sense. I'm more than happy to go ahead and do that. But you know, Diane, what's your thought?
If you're gonna change the address, you need to take the M logo off. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be there because
Yep.
it goes with the address.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay.
We can't simplify it, or we can't add content. Not without going to a much bigger format, and I don't think we have the time, to be honest.
No, and that's fine. So we'll just take that off. We'll change the address. We're good to go. That's a good catch. Jim, what is your thought?
I think this is well put together and it's going to be very timely. I'm not quite sure what all the other efforts would be, but just by saying go look at the website is not going to be enough. I think this is proposing to send this out to all addresses, right? A couple thousand, 3,000, whatever the number is. I think it's very important. It's very informative. Anybody who wasn't paying attention, it's coming. Here it is, and this is what it looks like. So I'm in favor of sending it out.
Al, your thought?
I'm in favor of this. This is great.
Okay. All right, Jeff. So that we're gonna go ahead with that, and you had
Yeah, so in your packet, we solicited printing costs and mailer costs from 4 different suppliers, right? And we got that in the backup here. All the details are in the way back here if you really want to get granular. We talked about quantities, postcard printing, breaking it down by postage itself, and all the aggregation here. The real question to you guys is there's 3,835 addresses in town, and then when you add the PO boxes, it goes to 4,100 and change. The cost is a kind of negligible increase in my opinion, and another $150. I would suggest we just blanket it to as many addresses as possible, including the PO boxes, but that's up to you guys.
That's fine. I mean, just do them all for the $150. It's not worth it. And then the other question is on the vendors there. Have any you guys worked with any of them? Because if obviously if someone has a track record, we'd want to work with those people. I imagine it's just printing. It shouldn't be brain surgery, but
Lauren, you can fact check maybe we've used these for the last one we did in Hopkinton or not. I forget which vendor we used. Lauren checked with all these people and she was going back and forth between the 2 low bidders. They do this all the time. A couple of the new nuances is that this, EDDM is basically you don't address it to a specific person. You drop it off at every single mailing address, where Allegra actually would have it tracked per household. So there's a little bit higher level of guarantee that kind of gets to all the addresses. And so we were recommending going with Allegra because you get a little better product out of that, we think.
It's cheaper.
A personalized mailer gets better response.
Yeah. And then
Jeff, we also need to add the small amount of costs for coated stock.
So that the Allegra, you're getting that extra step for a negligible cost increase from the Alpha Graphics. I think it's $15 or whatever. But to Diane's point, there's still a few things we got to tighten up in terms of the card stock itself and the count. So ultimately, I'd look for a number tonight from the committee of, say, not to exceed 2,500 or $3,000, whatever the number is you guys want. And then Diane and I will button it up and get it out the door.
all right. So I make a motion that we approve the amount of not to exceed of $3,000 for mailers for what you saying no, Diane?
3,500.
Okay, that's fine. There we go. 3,500. So I make a motion to approve the not to exceed $3,500 for a mailer for the school project.
I second.
All right, Jim,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
and I also, so we're all set.
Robin,
Oh, sorry, Robin.
Yeah.
Didn't see it down
Yeah.
the bottom. And I
And
think
Shayna.
Shayna's there too.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shayna.
I also asked for another 100, or, I mean, they'll usually have print overruns, and if they're nice, they'll give them to you. But we could use some out at town hall when we're there for town meeting or wherever else.
Right. I think that's a great idea. We'll get an extra 100 or so printed. We can have them on tables at town hall, library for people to pick up at their leisure. Again, it's a QR code. It's a place to scan. Right now, the boards have been given to Bob, and I think between John Engler and Bob, they're going to kind of move them around town, between town hall and library, or if there are other events going on, we can strap one of these to those too, so people have the dates for the town meeting to it. So
Jeff,
having
one
a
more
couple extra
thing on
copies
that.
makes sense.
Speaking of the board, is there 2 versions of that? Because the parents group had been borrowing them back and forth. I mean, I don't know what they cost to run each board. Is it worthwhile to have a second set of those?
There are
or-
2.
So we got
Yeah.
2 sets. We can print more if
Nope,
you guys
2
want it.
and-
It's short money in the grand scheme of things.
Two so far is all we've needed. So
If anyone has a preference for the drawing that's on the front of the mailer that highlights various areas of the building. Probably could get that done. Sorry, Matt. As a board. Bob, what do you think?
Yeah, we don't have two identical sets. Like we only have one first floor plan and second floor plan, but I think if you move them around, that'll be fine. The doubles we have are the gym, the new drop off, excuse me, location.
Site plan.
Yeah, and the site plan, yeah.
Well, does it cost that much to make more of the floors?
No, we should just do that, Matt. Let's just get the two floor plans and the color site plan printed.
Awesome.
And then if Diane wants to do the one on the mailer too, then I'm fine with that, and we'll just get them dropped
I
off.
like that one on the mailer. I think that is pops.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
you
Ellen.
have to focus on who is it we're trying to convince with this piece.
Yeah.
So frankly, the piece on the
Everybody.
mailer is pretty good. And there's a lot of people that are going to decide one way or another without really spending a lot of time on what the floor plan is.
Yep. Makes sense.
So you want one more copy of the floor plans, first and second floor, one more of the site plan?
The one that's on the mailer.
And then, yeah, a pair of the one on the mailer. Just do two of those ones.
Okay, I'll have to check on that to see if we can actually print that large. We may have to scale it up and redo it, but I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Is it the same thing that's on the press release?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the
use it
same.
on
Yeah,
press
I
release.
mean, what are the chances of getting the paper to print the press release with the picture?
Yeah, we have it as a JPEG, but to Matt's point, it won't stretch to be 3 feet tall without getting pixelated. So
Well, no, I
Okay.
mean for the newspaper.
It's gone to the newspaper.
we sent it
Yeah.
as a JPEG to the newspaper separate. So the newspaper got the Word document file and the picture separate. I just mushed it together for you guys.
I hope we suggested them a great idea to show the picture. That's
They're
up to them.
usually looking for content,
Yeah.
so I think
It's up
they'll,
to them, but there it is.
yeah, I think they like having a graphic to go with it.
Perfect.
Agree.
I have a question. You know how on the school building website, we have that one page about, what is it called? It says existing conditions. I know a lot of people are always like, but what actually needed to be fixed in the building? Would it be helpful to have a board that basically shows like the pictures of kind of like, how it, on the site, it talks about HVAC. There's pictures of the roof and issues, updated fire alarm system. Would it be helpful to have a visual that's kind of next to the board that shows, like that's on the front of the flyer, how it's showing externally what it looks like, but just something that's showing what is being fixed and needed to be fixed on the inside? I don't know if that's something that would help people visualize it.
I mean, that's a good question.
Does
I
that?
mean, we have had the question going back to the straight renovation of, hey, what are the items that need to be fixed, which kind of follows up on just what you said. The thing is, the picture of the roof, you know what I mean? If there was a list maybe of items that we were doing, but then, people, are they going to read it? You know what I mean? The picture of the roof, I don't know what that'll necessarily, how much impact that will have. So, I mean, unless I'm missing something.
I don't know if you can take pictures of a bad fire system.
I do have,
Well, you
You know,
can,
we
but you
do
need
have-
marshmallows.
yeah, we do have pictures of like ceiling tiles with water marks
Stains.
on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have,
Is that too much though? I
Well,
hate seeing.
that's kind of the thing is it's what I'm saying is it's a good point. It's a good question. People have, like I said, have asked on the straight renovation is, hey, what's gonna be renovated? What's the scope of that? But like I said, that my concern is this is something where people aren't going to spend a lot of time on it. You know what I mean? And is it worthwhile to put another thing for them to look at? I guess hurt, but I don't know necessarily if it would be.
I also think, Rich, that it gets a little heavy-handed.
Right, and well, that might be, they took the picture of the worst tile in the whole
Right.
place.
Right.
Oh, they took a picture of the puddle that's in the hallway when it rained out, even though, Bob had pictures of
Yeah.
the kids had taken of the water going in a whole bunch of windows.
Right.
You gotta be a little
A
careful.
drip
I mean,
when there was a dew in the morning.
right, and I mean, even going back to the Clyde Brown, when they put the blue tarp on the roof, that came up on Facebook was, oh, overreaction 100%, this, that, and the other thing. But we actually had a meeting in there. I think it was an open house before it was renovated, and it was raining out, and they had a bucket and it was dribbling in it. And but they still got the pushback from Facebook of, oh, you guys are exaggerating all this stuff. So anyhow.
You can make that board, but they're still gonna ask about it. It's a discussion point. Let them talk about it. Let us rebuttal it, and we'll go on from there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we can add a little bit more to the website. Maybe I'll talk with Bob and Tepe to see if we can put a few more things there, so people that want to know why can have a place to go versus kind of rubbing their nose in it. But
Yeah, I agree with
more
that.
information.
Why is a critical question that people who have not been paying attention but are going to vote, okay? And there's a lot of them. I mean, we have to keep in mind who we're trying to inform here.
Right. Well, and to be
And-
fair, to follow up on what Jim's saying is I agree. I mean, on a lot of this stuff, people just don't pay attention. I got people and I've talked to them in town that I know, and they're like, "Oh, we're doing something with the school." I mean, we're obviously involved in it, so
Hello?
we live, eat, and breathe it. But there's a lot of people who just, they don't pay attention because.
Well, they're the ones who are going to decide too. I mean, that's
Right.
the thing. And I think having a list is good. Well, not too long a list, but I agree that just having pictures of, rainwater and whatnot probably is not as convincing as we might think it would be.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily focused on the pictures. To Ellen's point, we can't take a picture of a failing fire system, but I meant more of information on what is failing.
Yeah, we're not in a do nothing mode here. We have to do something. That to me is the why. We have to do something with this building to bring it up to speed so it's safe and secure, and we have to have it serve the educational needs of the students of the town. So that's why we're doing it. And this is the most cost-effective proposal you're ever going to see, folks.
But isn't it? I'd rather hear that from somebody than see it on a board, because I don't think they're going to take the time to read into that and understand that that thinking right there.
That's something
think
that Pat can do.
they're gonna ask the question, and you're gonna end up having that same talking point right there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I asked the question as a member of this committee, why are we doing this? Well, it's pretty obvious why we're doing it. But just because I've been thinking about it and we've all been thinking 2 years doesn't mean the people who are going to decide have not been thinking about it.
Yeah, that project needs subpages. One we did at the very beginning and it's never really been updated. I've been updating the other ones. So I think the 10-year capital plan is kind of missing from the content up there, that I'm kind of looking at it. So I think that graphic that showed the $50 to $60 million over the next 10 years and what happens in what year, I think is a powerful presentation. And so we can get that up there.
Yeah,
so
somebody had
people can
actually
kind of follow.
asked, I can't remember who, somebody had actually asked if we could get that up there or, out, because I can't remember if I've talked to a lot of people, but I can't remember, might have been Dan from the parents group that had asked for that, slide.
On that, the parents group brochure that's being passed out all over the place, right on the very first paragraph that you read at the bottom, with Diane's help, they actually listed the 5 chunks that I got from Jeff, and the money. So I can send that out to you guys. It's pretty powerful, I think. So
Jeff, we used 76 in the press release because of the,
Yeah, I was trying to tie it back to the presentation we made
Right.
to this group back in
Right.
February. So
so I just want to be careful not to put something out there that says 50 or 55.
no, and we use 75 to 85 because
Yeah.
we don't know if it's 10 years or 1 year.
Right.
Right.
So we're around the 70, 75 piece. Whatever it is, it's more than the ad reno.
Yeah, there is, just to refresh everybody here, because I know we get so lost in the weed, the capital plan was the 50, it was 60 million, and that was really trying to play a game of chicken and avoid as much as you can all the way through. The $76 million renovation was saying, okay, we have to deal with it with that 10 years. Let's do it all as one project. And instead of leaving, half the ceiling tiles in place, you were replacing things that made sense. So there was a bit of a difference between the $60 million cost of doing nothing 10-year capital plan and the $76 million renovation, which had the modules and other things that you would normally trigger once you trigger this. Like the 10-year plan kind of put a blind eye to the impact of students, where the $76 million number didn't.
Well, just as a data point, the capital planning committee is of the view that they were told that the $75 million number is pretty much the number that people should be aware of. It's just the one sentence, but I don't want one report to say something different from another report. That's what I'm trying to get at.
You're right, Jim. It's the 75. That's the number we're going with for the
I
do
think that's
nothing.
the number.
And the do nothing, remember, is that, that is a complete, that requires the voting to go through. It has to go through in multiple votes. So, I mean, if they miss a vote, that number could go up. If they say, hey, we're not going to do it, and we didn't bring it up a year later, the numbers could go up. So there's, that I think I agree with, is that the number should be consistent, and the 75 number is what we should go with.
And
we
not for
probably
nothing,
we
but
probably shouldn't call it a do nothing either.
well, not for nothing. We haven't talked about this, but I think we should mention this. So the do nothing is really not the 75. The do nothing is if the people vote, because that 75 is relying on overrides every 2.5 years. Well, what if the overrides don't pass? Then the real do nothing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the real do nothing that we just steal this money in the budget, in the operating budget? So now we're not going to pave roads, we're not going to cut trees, right?
That is
Because
correct.
if
And divert regular tax dollars.
exactly,
Override to do
we've
that.
never, we've never mentioned that, but somebody's going to come and say that, and that's the answer, right?
Well, and the other thing is it's reactionary. So instead of being
That's
able
right.
to bid
No
stuff out
planning.
and price it, what happens is we wait. We have a hole in the roof. We have ceiling tiles collapsing. Oh my God, we got to get the roofer in. Hey, we can only get a portion of it patched because we can't afford it. That's when you start to run up. You can, death through 1,000 cuts, because we just piecemeal it.
Right, and it happens over, Christmas vacation.
Right.
Double time, tripled. So, but that has to, if somebody says that at some point, that's the real do nothing, I
Right.
think.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna, to do that, you gotta slash services everywhere.
Nothing's gonna happen on a schedule. So you're gonna be stealing money real time from something else that has to happen that year.
Exactly.
All right, Jeff, what was the upcoming for public meetings? What was that point? Basically, we have a meeting at the Glen, we have a meeting at the senior center. I
Yeah,
can't,
so to refresh everybody, so next Wednesday, there's a meeting at the Glen. The following that's the 22nd. The following Tuesday, the 28th, there's another public forum. That one's hybrid at the high school, and it's going to be the same content as last night. And I think there's a penciled in date for the senior center on November 5th during the daytime.
that's
Those are all
actually, that was, I think it was a hard one. The only one they were waiting for was for me to reply, and I'm just
Okay.
it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm just gonna take time off to go do it.
Okay. So those are the firm dates, and then other than that, that's all this group is participating in at the moment that I'm aware of. But if there's other needs, or as questions come up from the public, feed it back to Rich and Diane and Ellen. They'll get it back to us, and we'll get answers, back to the group, so we can either update the website or inform the people that ask questions. So far, nothing's really been coming in from the project email account. I do expect that to uptick, over the next couple of weeks as the project becomes real to people. But right now, it's radio silence.
Is that something you would have expected at this stage of the game, based upon your other projects in other communities? mean, it always makes me nervous when only 44 people show up because it's going to be 3,000 that go to vote.
I mean, you know your people, right? I mean, you guys
Yeah.
have lived in this town a long time. Some towns are very involved. They use that email all the time. Other times they only use it leading up to town meeting. And some people like yourselves kind of hardly ever use it. So it just depends on your constituents.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we definitely need to get the information out there now so that that ripple effects for the next 3, 4 weeks to get to the right people. So now is the time to get information out more so than, a week before the vote.
And
'Cause
and
then
the
you have a
same
short
thing,
runway.
which I talked to the leader of the parents group, and it's, it's the public outreach. That's like gonna be the thing. It's, anything that you can do, if you can get one more vote, that's what we need to work on.
Yeah, and then get that one vote to get one vote, right? That's where the
Right.
chain goes. But so that was kind of it for tonight's presentation. It was really just a kind of a verbal update, a conversation. We hit the mailer. I know you guys have minutes and invoices too, but other than that, I turn it back to you guys if there's things you want to talk about related to getting people engaged or getting information out there or things that consultants can do to support you in this home stretch.
Nope, I think I'm good for now.
Me too.
Do you want us to come to the like meeting at the senior center in the Glen, like all of us, or
Well, actually,
are
we were
there?
invited, no, we were invited to the Glen, so there's a
Okay.
specific group that is going to that.
Okay,
Actually, but
perfect.
Jim, I don't remember, did they ask for, I know there was a specific thing, did they want somebody from the school, or we've already presented?
We
it?
told them that it was going to be from the school, be the superintendent to talk
Okay.
about the needs of the building. They're already aware of him coming.
All right, so that takes care of that. And the senior center, the more the merrier, that'd be fine. They only gave us an hour, I think, at the senior
Yeah.
center. So, I mean, it's basically, we're gonna go do a presentation and, answer any questions, realistically. Like last night, Jeff did the presentation and it took a little over a half an hour. We were done in less than an hour, with the whole, presentation last night. So if you want to come, that's great. But you don't feel like you necessarily, need to. If you want to, we'd like to have, whatever, but I know stuff gets in the way and I got it. I'm taking off work because I back from vacation. I already need a break. So there you go. We're ripping out stuff I put in 30 days ago because the client doesn't like it. I love it. All right, Jeff, so we're good. We're gonna jump on to invoices in minutes. So if you guys all want to disappear, you're more than welcome. So, and thank you for everything.
One last question on printing the mailer on the board. Do
Yep.
you want any of the text and the QR code on there, or is it just the image?
Image.
Just the
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Take care.
Matt.
Have a good night.
All right, next item on the agenda, review and approve invoices.
Sorry, I was muted. Okay, now I'm gonna share.
I printed them.
Okay. So we'll start with TAPay.
Yep.
And you can see that amount, $43,910.
Okay, yep. So I make a motion to approve the invoice for TAPay for professional services for the month of September for the amount of $43,910.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passed unanimously.
Okay, so I'll switch over to Vertex and scroll down. And we have a Vertex invoice for $14,732 for the month of September for OPM services.
All right, I make a motion to approve the invoice for Vertex for the professional services for the month of September for the amount of $14,732.
A
Second.
second.
All right, motion's been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, next item on the agenda would be the approval of minutes for the meeting on September 17th. And so I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
All right, motion's made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
I'll abstain, Rich. Wasn't at the
Oh,
meeting.
right, because you weren't there. That's fine. Yep, thank you. And then I lost my agenda. So I think that takes care of that. Yeah, so I make a motion to adjourn the school, the SBC meeting.
Second,
All right, motion's been made and seconded. We're gonna have the PBC meeting after that. So all in favor?
aye.
Aye.
All right, great. Thanks, everybody. Hey, thanks for all the help.
Thank
and,
you.
we'll
Thank
see
you.
We'll see you soon.
I know.
All right. So as soon as we go, there we go. All right, so I make a motion to open the permanent building committee meeting.
Second.
All right, motion's made in second. All in favor?
Aye.
You can open it without a vote. You
Yeah,
can just
we don't
open-
need a vote.
you're-
Oh, I can. Whatever. I'm getting tired. I'm tired. Come on. It's I'm 6 hours ahead. I'm ready for bed. All right. So Lansing Millis update. So basically the
Looks great, by the way.
yeah, well, I can
Thank you.
yeah, basically I can well, Ellen, since you've been
Yeah, I do.
down
I
there
wanted
on-
to,
Well, it's Ellen's photos. It tells me. It
I
looks-
know, I was gonna
I
say
do.
since
I
Ellen's been the
wanted,
the
Kimberly.
professional photographer.
Kimberly, you just screen shared. Can you tell me how to do that?
So at the very bottom of your screen, there's a green button that says share with an arrow underneath
Yeah.
all the pictures. And if you press on that,
I don't see one that says share with an arrow.
She has to be a contributor. Is she a contributor?
everybody is.
Okay.
Well,
Oh, I see it. I see it now. It just showed up on mine.
You know what, you
What
might
is
have
it?
to move your cursor down there, Ellen. Sometimes if you don't have your,
oh, brilliant. Share. Okay.
okay.
If
And
I
then you
can
just
pull,
click on whatever you want to share.
Now, this isn't gonna be a vacation photos, Ellen, right?
Yeah,
No.
maybe
what
be
is-
careful before you hit it.
I've
no.
already seen this, okay? It looks great, okay.
Okay, hold on. I have my instructions here. Open email, open Zoom,
Oh,
share,
there we go.
find file, click it, share again. Hold on.
You're sharing.
No, I want to do it again because she says she wants me to go to the beginning, but I'm not seeing
You're at the
that.
beginning. You're
We're
at
at
the
the
beginning right
beginning,
now.
yeah. It looks good.
All right, well, she wanted the full screen, but anyway. Share, hold on. You are screen sharing. Okay, hold on. It
Scroll
says-
down to the next page.
Go to 2.
Yeah, all right, I'm screwing this up. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Ready?
Okay. Uh-oh. There we go. So these are the old photos. These came out of the study. And I took the next photos, you'll see I took in the same way. So if you notice the old photos, the one on the top left, you can see half of the railing is there, which is pretty cool. And you see on the bottom photo on the left, the north one, with the makeshift entryway that the school put in, right? Awful. So we're gonna go down to the next photo. This is the beginning of the renovation, when they put the staging up on both sides. Then we're gonna go to in the back when they started tearing it apart, which is pretty cool. And then that's the original copper roof, that green. We kept that.
That is cool.
We kept it. It's fine. We put more copper around the front, which I'll show you to secure it, to make it weatherproof. There were a few holes in it. They welded them shut, covered them, perfect. So the copper's still there. There's the famous turret, which is so much fun with all the little rosettes. This is when we ripped out that entryway and exposed the natural front, which is gorgeous. And then that's the Millis that I painted, which was fun. And on the top, if you'll notice, it says W and B. Those are the distances to Worcester and Boston by train.
Ah.
I painted those also. I'm only showing you this because this was interesting. This is the back door. The metal stairway is over to the right, the fire escape stairway. they rebuilt this whole bottom because the original one went down and covered the sandstone on the bottom. And I wanted to expose it, so I made them rip it out, back it up, and make it so it sits in about an inch so you can see that sandstone. They were a great contractor, by the way. This is the finished front. This is 100% with the railing, all painted, roof, shingles. I want you to see the, in between the railings of the, the pieces that hold it. Those were completely rebuilt. Those were completely rotted. You couldn't pound a nail into them. So they rebuilt all of those 4 columns. And there's copper on top. And if you could zoom in, you'll see there's a strip of copper, about a 3-inch strip of copper on the bottom that covers over the shingle. That's it, finished again.
That's a nice picture.
Which one?
The one.
Back one, back one,
That
yeah.
one, yeah,
That one, that's a beauty.
that's a pretty picture.
Yeah. They, even these posts, you see these black posts? Some of them got skinny in the middle. They wood puttied them and tried to make them as straight as possible and repainted them. That's a nice picture too. The only thing left here, they puttied that piece of white under the window that I showed you earlier. They're gonna sand and paint the stairs. The stairs are fine. New door at the top of the stairs needs to be painted also. And that's
Talking about the fire escape there? The fire
I'm
escape-
sorry?
Fire
Yes,
escape stairs?
Yeah, that's a fire escape.
I thought they were metal. Isn't it
It
metal?
is.
They're gonna paint it? What are they gonna paint it?
the door up top.
Oh, the door. Okay, yep.
Oh, the door is metal also. The door was
Grand
completely,
stairs are getting painted.
the door was completely rotted, had to be replaced, and the stairs is metal, and they're both going to be painted.
And they are secured again, right?
Yes, of course.
Well, what do you mean, of course? It wasn't before.
It is. I've been up there a couple times. It's fine. All right, so that's that piece of it. So if you take a look between that and what the beginning was, it came out spectacular. It's
Looks
spectacular.
amazing.
So a couple other little notes. So this piece here, you can see very clearly the fascia board got replaced. Every board that got replaced was replaced with AZAC.
Oh, great.
So that's fabulous. All that trim, if you look up on this picture and you see the trim on top, I'm going to try to get some, even the trim over the back and all the trim over the peak, it's all been replaced with AZAC. And all the fascia in the front, I can point, right? All of this is all AZAC. But underneath the soffit, we did not rip it out. There were only a few boards that needed to replace. They were replaced with wood. It was caulked, sanded, and painted.
Ellen, they're gonna let the shingles weather naturally?
Yes.
Great.
Yep. Trying to see other things. My favorite piece, of course, was the turret and replacing those rosettes. They made them, they would you see the rosettes on the top of the
Yeah.
turret? Right up here?
Yeah.
Those little black dots? They're little rosettes. There were like 20 missing. And they made them on a 3D printer. And
Wow.
and put them up and drove the nail in the middle and painted them black. And I'm thinking anything else kind of cool? No, not really. One broken window we had replaced. That was it. Yeah, that's it.
They look
My
great.
story.
Looks great.
So why am I here? Not to show you pictures, although that was lovely.
Is that AI or is that real?
Which?
The whole thing?
Are you being funny?
Yeah, I'm being funny. I looked at it. It looks just as good in person, by the way.
Oh, yeah, you've been out there?
Yeah, it looks great.
Everybody's been out there. So many people go out there. It's really wonderful. All right, why am I here? I want to do the interior. I don't want to come to the town for money. I want to fundraise. I've already spoken with Jody, and we put, Jody's the new finance director. I don't know if you all know her. We've already set up a fund, the train station fund, with a QR code, all kind of stuff. It's on the town website. So if people go and pay their taxes or get a dog license, my little thing will come up along with others people's, and people can hit a button and donate. I've also been hitting up a ton of companies in town. I've got 4 bids. So the renovation is, all right, first of all, I was going to take pictures of the interior. I can't capture it. I can't capture how bad it is. No. If you guys want to meet me out there anytime, you call me and I'll meet you there and we'll do a walkthrough. Basically, it's this. I've already gone in there personally with friends or myself and ripped out every single thing that the school built inside, which was just a lot of shelving and nails and screws and bolts and hooks and just crazy stuff. That's all gone. The building is back to its original everything. The good news is it still has good bones. The bad news is 1,000 holes, 1,000 holes. There were some animals living up in the roof. Some of the roof is caved in. Up in the turret on the 2nd floor, a piece of the turret, the wainscoting is removed, but it's there. Somebody saved it all. So there are 4 things that need to be done. It needs to be plastered, painted, new flooring, and new lighting. That's it. I know it sounds like a lot. I've already got preliminary bids. I'm up at around $70,000. $30,000 for the plaster, $16,000 for the paint, $10,000 for the flooring, and the rest for the $16,000, I think, for the lighting. My ideas for doing it, and I'll run all the things by you, but my ideas on the 1st floor, I want to keep the original floor in the foyer and in a couple of the rooms. It's a tile. It's just tile. I'm going to keep that. All the other flooring has to be removed. It's carpeting and it's disgusting. And it has to remain carpeting because the floors are a little wonky. They tilt a little bit upstairs. I don't know if you all remember that.
A lot.
Yeah, so you can't do like a vinyl. You can't do a vinyl. You just can't. It'll crack, it'll break, you just can't do it. You have to redo it with carpet, which is fine. It's carpeted now. There's a ceiling fan in every single room. And originally I thought we're going to rip out all the ceiling fans, put in some recessed lighting. Well, no, the ceiling fans are there for a reason. It's hot. It can get hot in there in the summer. My plan would be to replace the ceiling fans and have a light with them, an LED light, and just do there are no lights on the ceiling fans. What they did was they put in those 2x4 and 4x4 fluorescent fixtures. They just stuck them up on the ceiling. They're awful and they need to come down. My plan would be to replace all the ceiling fans with nice modern ceiling fans, the 3-blade ones, all remote, with a light. And there's the one big room upstairs would also need a couple of other lights on the side. I'm thinking just flush mount, white, LED, and that's it. That's the least expensive and probably the smartest way to go. What else? The toilets and sinks, the plumbing's working, by the way. Everything's on. The heat works. The boiler's fine. The heat's on right now. And I think that's really it. The light. That's what I got. What do you think?
Well, so as I think you and I have already had the conversation, is that we have to on this one, do we run into, because if we get into the project, if it's over a certain amount, it has to
Right.
be publicly bid. Now, if you do it through donations, I don't know how that, so.
I
we'd have to-
do.
Did you check with town council?
Of course.
Okay,
I checked with Jay, I talked with Mike. Okay, if it's not town money, if it's under $10,000, you can give it to whoever you want.
right,
If it's over $10,000, you have to send out 3 bids. But you pick the people you want to send them to. You give them 2 weeks to respond. And you pick whoever you want to pick, but you do have to bid it.
right. So that with that, then what you'd have to do on that is we'd have to write a scope, which is not that big a deal. We'd have to pick a light. You'd have to
Yep.
pick a carpet, because
Agreed, yep.
all that stuff, and it has to have specs on it. Because when we
Yep.
did the exterior on that,
Yep,
that all had a specific spec on, you remember that giant package that we.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
it doesn't have to be quite like that, but it does have to have what we're looking for.
Right. The other thing on it is that we want to make sure that, like the billing and the retainage and the progress payments and all
Yep.
that stuff is just so we're covered. And then also lien waivers, because,
Yep,
Chris has been good on that. The contractor, that work is, because he does that type of work, is that,
Yep.
it's filled out. We get a lien waiver, so the town is covered.
yep,
So we need to make sure that happens.
yep,
The only other thing I would ask on that one, Ellen, is that Chris, when they submit their timesheets, he has, I don't know, there's specific payment requirements on it. Okay, because when he sends those in, he has all that, more than likely, you're gonna have to follow that too. So
Yep,
that has to be.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
Are we limited at all? Like depending on how much work you do, does stuff have to be brought up to code?
No, not for $70,000, no.
well, technically, you have to be careful,
I
because
know.
we've already done
I'm
some on it. And
250,
then we're
we've
doing
already
more
done
on it.
250. Yep.
How much can you do in a year? There's a limit.
Yes, there is.
3 years, Al.
2 years.
Yeah, 33% of the assessed value of the building, every 3 years. And I don't know what it's assessed at.
I think we're good.
It's easy enough to find out. Ellen, has all the junk that was stored in there been cleaned out?
Yes.
Good.
The only thing left in there, you'll find this funny, is the menorah. I can't seem to get rid of that menorah. Might be in my house, so I'll
What's
let you
the
know.
end goal? Ellen, what's the end goal? Like, what's
What?
End goal.
the end goal? What's the
The end goal? Oh, I'm so glad you said that. And this is my, I floated this around all over the place. This is my vision. You can, whatever you guys want. I'd like to bring the food pantry over to take the first floor. They're in the basement of the church right now, and they think that the church is doing, first of all, they're in the basement of the church. I really shouldn't have to say any more. I've been down there. It's horrible. But besides that, the church that they're in is not doing well, and they don't think they're going to be there very much longer. They think it's going to get sold. That's number one. And the second thing I want to do to the second floor, and maybe part of the first floor, is I want to do a museum of Millis stuff. These were my last pictures. Hold on one sec. Have any of you guys been over to the second floor of Oak Grove Farmhouse?
Yep.
No?
No.
Rich?
No,
Jim?
No.
You got to go. There's 5 rooms up there full of stuff. There's one room. There's another room. There's a half of a room.
hey, that same light fixture that they had in the school.
Right? Maybe I can get some light fixtures for cheap over there, Rich. These are all just donated stuff. You see the picture on the right? Apparently that came from the Millis Opera House.
Oh, jeez.
Did you know we had an opera house?
It
No.
was still here when I came. Yep.
Well, that's from there. And this is
Jim helped build it?
Yeah, right. I play the piano.
and there's some
Evening.
dolls. This piece in the middle is from Herman Chu, and over on the right is a player piano that works.
That's why I could play it, because it took care of it for me.
And this isn't even 1/100th of the stuff that is jam-packed.
Ellen, are we as a town able to sell the player piano?
Why would we sell it? We're gonna put it in our new Millis Museum.
Okay, just thinking it's worth some money.
Yeah, but no, it's
You'll
probably
probably
not
fund
enough.
the whole project, Ellen.
Can I just,
what?
Ellen,
Probably fund the whole project.
Rich,
Right,
Yes.
what?
it seems to me that this particular use of this building is not within this purview of the permanent building committee. It's up to
Oh,
the
okay.
select board to tell us what they want to do with it.
Right.
Okay,
And it's our responsibility to manage it. Not quite clear what management oversight we have if it's coming from private money, private donation.
No, and I, like I said, I have no, I tend to agree.
listen, I don't stand on ceremony, you know this.
Yeah, but I do. Sue.
I
You
know, but you're the
do.
permanent building committee. Whether I need your permission or not, this is your bailiwick.
Yeah, but
So-
you go to the select board first and then they say, this is what they want to do with it. And we help you get it done. That's our job.
Okay, but the renovations have nothing to do with what it's gonna be.
No,
I don't
that's
know if-
fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. Like I said, I think.
know what I mean.
Well, no, I don't agree with that because
No.
frankly, what we did as a permanent building committee is we decided the select board wanted us to preserve the building so it could be used for something.
Right,
That was our goal. Okay,
right.
that's been done, pretty much accomplished thanks to your efforts.
Well,
and-
not that, no, it hasn't been done, only the exterior has been
But
done.
that's the point. That's what we wanted to preserve the building so something could
Oh,
be
you're
done
right,
with it.
you're right.
Now,
Yeah,
if you want to do something with it,
yeah,
such as set it up so that it can be amenable to something like the food pantry or whomever,
yeah,
that's the select board's decision, and we are responsible to make sure it gets done right.
okay.
And I
That's
I
agree.
my,
like that.
Yes,
I
and
like when
I
somebody
agree.
knows their
Yeah,
place.
because we can't, we can't tell the town what to do with the building.
No, I know, but I just, okay, but going back to that just for a second, being able to do anything with the building requires those 4 things to be done to the interior. So I don't think even the conversation, even anything, even if we did want to give it to a tenant or a couple of town offices, the interior has to be brought up to snuff.
right.
So I
Ellen,
want you
so
to
I
be
think-
involved in that, that's
Yeah,
all.
no, that's fine. So we should work on developing the scope and get ready to bid. And then when we have the funds, then we can go ahead and do it. Because obviously, there's no
Perfect.
sense in bidding it until the money is in hand.
I've already got 1/3 of the money.
Perfect.
I've
I
already got,
I don't
Well-
want to be negative, but you have a second floor and you have an access issue.
no, I don't know if I do. I don't think I do.
Why
I
do you
don't
say
think I
that?
do. I think I fall in the same place as the old fire station. They have a second floor and they have concerts up there.
But they had to get approval from the architectural access.
You can,
Yeah, I
you can,
know.
yeah, you can get a
Okay.
waiver.
I know.
Well, isn't that our example of what happens when private money gets utilized to save a building, right? That was a group that worked on that for years. This is the same model. All I'm asking is we get the select board to say, yep, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we want to.
Yep.
And then I'm responsible as a permanent building committee to get it done.
Okay, I like it.
I think
All
it
right, are we
looks
good?
really nice. Thank you, Ellen.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to say that I don't think it's a great idea, because it is a great idea.
Well, then don't say it isn't.
I didn't say it isn't. I said, let's go through process here.
We will.
Uh,
We will. I want to thank you guys for,
And what's in the eggs box there? Is that
nothing-
eggs?
who knows? People bring in stuff. They just bring in stuff to the historical commission. People
Okay.
people come into town, right? I mean, I don't want to say it this way, but a lot of people come in and clean out their parents' or their relatives' houses. They find Millis stuff and they bring it to town hall or they bring it to Nate. And this is what it looks like. And honestly, Jim, one match.
Yeah, yeah,
And this is gone.
yeah.
Gone. And that kind of makes me sick because it could very easily be a match, Anyway, I've been talking to Nate Maltinsky and Mitch about it. You know them on historical.
Right.
They'd be very excited to drill down and start cataloging this stuff. It's a lot. but I think it's worth it.
I have 2 pictures framed. that I
See,
t-
she already
I
wants to
took-
give me something.
No, I took out of the building when people were starting to go around. They're in my back room here, and I'm happy to bring them back when we're ready.
I'm happy to take them when you're ready.
Yeah, I didn't want them to walk away. One of
I
them
agree with you.
really
I-
old. I don't know
I-
about the others.
I agree with you.
Well, you
Um,
know what? I'm the only one who actually worked in that building that's on this committee. Because when I was on
Right?
the select board, the meetings were there. Yep,
I remember.
Second
I remember
floor.
I remember my mother being up there.
yep.
That was the board. Yep, it was a humming building at one point. Let's try to make it hum again. All right, thanks, guys. I'll work with you, Rich.
All right, sounds like a plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
So we need to, Ellen can go, but.
Yeah, we have to, yeah, I was gonna say, we're not done.
We gotta vote the bills, right?
Yeah,
Yep,
We've already electronically approved, but we just need to verbally approve the, let me just share it, the Aqua Barriers invoice. This is the old one, sorry. With the total being right here.
all right, so I make a motion to approve a progress payment for Aqua Barriers for work in the Lansing Millis train station for the amount of $113,000, $335.
second,
113,335.00.
second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Okay, great. And I think that's not the final payment. They think they still have one outstanding because we had I checked the progress payments and I think we also had retainage on them. So,
yeah, it's still under the budget, so.
yep. All right, with that, I think we're set.
I move we adjourn.
I second that motion.
Sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, good night,
Excellent.
everybody.
Great work.
Have a
Aye.
good night.
Right.
Yeah.